So every year in the dead of winter, I find myself dreaming of summer, dreaming of warmer days. But then when it comes, I feel like I never appreciate it enough, you know? The summers pass so fast and it feels like I wasn't even present for most of it. But this spring, after I finished the house remodel, I just kind of made the decision to work much less and just enjoy my life these next couple of months. Now that it's been getting pretty hot in this valley, we've been going up higher into these mountains to feel the cooler air. I am still dreaming of this hike that we went on this week. Being high up in the mountains like this, it does something to me. I can't really explain it. It connects me to something deeper, almost like it touches a part of me I didn't even know was there.
When we get home, you'll love it.
The garden is really starting to explode with so much abundance here. This is definitely my favorite time of year when I'm able to feed myself from what I'm growing. Also, just like the taste of homegrown veggies is otherworldly, to be honest, especially things like tomatoes. I swear, tomatoes from the store and a homegrown tomato are like a completely different species of vegetable. In the summer, especially now that it's hot, I definitely gravitate towards eating more fresh fruits and salads. It's pretty difficult for me to get to the grocery store in the winter, so I don't eat too many fresh foods during that time. So I tend to go a little overboard in the summer with how much fresh food I eat. Lately, I've been experimenting with different ways to use up my sourdough discard. This morning, I decided to make waffles with it. So I was at this consignment shop and I found this old cast iron waffle maker, except it was completely covered in rust all around it. I ended up buying it, but then kind of left it at the back of my pantry for a while. And recently I found it again and brought it back to life and just got all the rust off of it and then re-seasoned it about 1,000,000 times, and now it's working super well. I really have missed waffles. Growing up, my dad would make them for us all the time, but it's been really hard for me to find a waffle maker that is made out of a material I feel good about. We have like an abundance of greens and beets in the garden right now. I don't know why, but every year I plant so many beets. So now I'm just trying to figure out ways to use them up. I'm not super proud of the yields I've had from the garden this year, but I think it's mostly due to the fact that when I was planting all of it, it was right around the time when I was trying to rebuild the house. And I don't know, there was just like so much going on and I just didn't put much energy into getting the soil right. So it feels like because of that, I haven't had as good of yields. Like things aren't growing as well as they have in the past. So it's Monday today, and usually in the beginning of the week, I like to pre-cook the beans that I'm going to eat throughout the week. It just like makes my life a lot easier to have them cooked and ready to go in the fridge, just because it does take quite a long time to cook dry beans, but honestly, it is so cost effective. The average price of dry beans is like 25 cents per cup, which is so affordable in my opinion. On this night, I made a fresh loaf of sourdough as well as a big batch of hummus and lots of roasted vegetables from the garden. This is Logan's favorite meal, and honestly, I think it's mine as well. It's just like really yummy and fresh. My friend is coming over to visit tonight, so I decided to make some cookies. I sometimes feel like I'm becoming a grandma. My grandma would always make cookies every time I came to visit, and now anytime someone comes over, I just feel this innate need to feed them chocolate chip cookies. I also have been using a lot of her old recipes, which honestly makes me so happy. I love my grandma so much and miss her a lot, and it makes me think of her when I make these. We wrapped them up and brought them down to the river, and it was just like a really beautiful night. We swam and ate cookies next to the river. Then on Tuesday, we went on this giant hike all day, high up in these mountains, and then we stuffed our face with bread afterwards from this little local bakery that's up in the mountains. I just ate a whole baguette. Salt.
A whole baguette?
Yeah.
Did you show the baguette?
It looks a little too salty for me.
Not for me.
Thank you so much to Jackery for sponsoring this video. If you're thinking of going on an adventure in the snow or in the sun, having a Jackery is the best way to have power in any off-grid situation. This winter in a snowstorm, I went camping and using my 1500-watt solar generator, I was able to power a little portable heater and stay warm all night in my tent. There's so many versatile ways to use the Jackery. I always bring it camping so I can have power while in the forest or on the road. I've used the Jackery in so many just amazing fun ways over the years. I love the freedom of being able to have power in any off-grid situation. Using their 200-watt Solar Saga solar panels, you can recharge the generator in only 1.8 hours to fully charge. If you're on a road trip, you can recharge it using the cigarette lighter in your car, or simply just plug it into a regular wall outlet. From July 3rd to the 20th, Jackery is having a huge sale of up to 44% off their products. You can check out their website using the link in the description. Thank you again so much, Jackery. This morning, I am making some cashew coconut milk that I am later going to make ice cream out of. A friend gifted me these beautiful peaches, so I decided to make a pie out of them. Also, we are having someone come stay with us for a couple of days, and they are arriving tonight, so I wanted to bake something nice on this evening. I ended up adding strawberries and raspberries to the pie just because I didn't have quite enough peaches, and also we have hundreds of ripe strawberries right now, so I'm just trying to think of any excuse to use them in something. I don't make pies often just because my mom is like so good at baking pies, and I feel like mine never are as good as hers. And then tonight for dinner, I decided to make a spaghetti sauce. We have a bunch of zucchini from the garden that I chopped up really small and put into the sauce. I don't think it's the correct thing to do to put veggies into a spaghetti sauce, but growing up, my mom would always do it, and I just kind of do it out of habit, I guess. So these days, I'm making 1 to 2 loaves of sourdough every day. Honestly, it has just been so life-changing to have an abundance of delicious fresh bread every day. It's really elevated my life experience. Something I've been doing lately is adding some cream to the red sauce while it's cooking. It just kind of turns it into this like thicker, creamy, roasted sauce. I don't know. It's very good. Also, of course, I made a huge green salad because, again, we have just such an abundance of lettuce right now. And then I just made some garlic bread out of the sourdough loaf. And yeah, this meal was super yummy and simple. Also, this pie, oh my gosh, this is another one of my grandma's recipes. This was definitely the best pie I've ever had. I would highly recommend a peach strawberry pie. Oh my goodness, it was so good. So I'm going on a trip soon to visit a friend for a couple of weeks. I'm trying to harvest and ferment as much as I can before I leave because otherwise everything will just kind of rot away. This morning I chopped up some cabbage and beets and used them to make sauerkraut. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you know I am like obsessed with sauerkraut. I have been making it for years and years now. Honestly, the only tip I have is just weigh out all your ingredients and use a 2% salt ratio. So add up the total weight of your vegetables and then multiply it by 0.02. I think the salt ratio is just so important for proper fermentation. Okay, so I'm actually working on another cookbook right now. Over the past year, I've been just like slowly testing out recipes and tweaking things. Also, since there's like 8 people staying on this farm right now, it gives me an excuse to cook a lot, knowing it will all get eaten and not go to waste. This morning, I am making tiramisu, which is something I've actually never even tried or had before. but I've always wanted to try it because it looks so like fluffy and creamy. It's basically just like this meringue kind of cake with these biscuit type cookies in between the layers of cream. Also, I wanted to see if I could turn this thick cashew cream I made into mascarpone. It actually ended up working out super well. Tonight I have a ton of potatoes and more zucchini to use, so I decided to make like a big pot of stew with them. So ever since Black's sister White went missing, I feel like she kind of has had some separation anxiety. She likes to be as close to me as possible at all times, which is kind of funny, and I just like don't have the heart to move her off this little table. I didn't really talk about it much, but Black Cat went through a pretty long depression after White disappeared. She just like barely ate anything and would sleep all day long in this spot that White used to sleep in. It was very, very sad and heartbreaking. So I give this cat a lot of love and a lot of leeway when it comes to being on the counter. The cashew mascarpone honestly turned out really well. I was super excited about that. I basically just like heated it up on the stove and then added lemon, which helped it to coagulate, and then I strained it through a nut milk bag to remove the whey, and then it thickened up so nicely. Oh my gosh. Okay, I feel like I need to talk more about this hike I went on. It was truly a spiritual experience. That sounds kind of lame to say, but oh wow, oh my gosh. For the rest of summer, it is my goal to hike every single possible day that I can. If any of you are in the area and want to go on a hike with me, please reach out. I will go any distance. I will go anywhere. I just seriously love being up in those mountains so much. It's like the quiet is kind of surreal.
Colorado. When we get old, you'll love it.
I'm really excited for you guys to try this.
Wow.
Oh my god.
It's just like cream, basically.
I
This
love
is the
cream.
first time I've made tiramisu. I think it turned out pretty good. It probably should have sat in the fridge for longer.
No.
No.
This is Eva, by the way. How's your visit been?
Oh my gosh. I don't want to leave. As you know, it's going to be really hard to go home.
I'm ready for one more.
You should eat mine.
Why don't you want it?
Well, I'm just kind of full right now.
What's crazy is it's so light.
It's really light.
Yeah.
It's a really fluffed out
Because
thing.
you know sometimes when you eat these, it makes the roof of your mouth kind of tingle.
Well, I've never had one before.
I've had so much of it.
Really?
Oh, have you really?
Yeah, so I
Does-
feel like
does
I'm a
it
good
compare?
judge. No, this is insanely good.
Oh, wow. Then you are a good judge.
Oh my gosh. I'm your biggest supporter of all food. There's never been a thing where I've been like, I'm not going to try that. Now, is it appropriate to eat 3
Tiramisus.
whole slabs?
Well, you haven't really eaten today, so maybe.
I think it's important to note that I'm still on my first one and you're gearing up for 3. The pacing of that is impressive.
The shame.
He is
Immense.
my biggest supporter. It's the nicest thing to have someone who really appreciates what you make and eats like 4 helpings of it.
It's so easy to do when it's this.
Okay, well, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you all next week. Okay, bye-bye.